Jurassic World Evolution released digitally this month, and the physical release is coming in early July. Now, for those who remember Jurassic Park Operation Genesis, I played too much of it. Way too much of it. The disc suffered laser burn in my PS2, and I thought, okay, I need to stop playing for a while. So naturally, I picked it up for PC and just continued to play it way too much. So I was really excited for Evolution to release, and though the response has been positive, there are a few things holding the game back. It's less of a park sim than you would think. No building customization, toilets, cleaners, benches, nothing much in the way of deep park management really. Jurassic World Evolution is strictly about the dinosaurs. In lieu of customizing the ins and outs of the park, you'll be customizing the dinosaurs' DNA, their defense, attack damage, viability, authenticity, whatever you want to genetically customize your dinosaurs to suit your park, whether you breed them for fighting or to create an authentic prehistoric experience. And the game shines then as you tweak and change their genetics, and they look stunning. Not just graphically, but the way they move, even the muscles ripple realistically, the rain pours off their scales. That said, fighting and killing animations are the same across the board, meaning that the more exciting moments can grow stale quite fast, and this is really unfortunate given how frequently it occurs, but then there are plans to add more animations in an upcoming patch. And speaking of, the game has already received one free content update already, adding 6 new dinosaurs from Fallen Kingdom. And this includes the Allosaurus, finally, because the Allosaurus is objectively the best dinosaur there is, and if you think otherwise you are wrong. Fight me.
And still believing that we can win. I know, however, what I would predict.
From the developers that brought us Life is Strange, of all things, Vampire, and yes, it is pronounced Vampire, was a game that nearly slipped me by, and boy would I have been disappointed if it did. I have to explain my bias here, because Vampire is a wonderful amalgamation of mechanics from games that I love. For one, while it isn't open world, Vampire uses an open hub system very similar to that found in the most recent Deus Ex titles, Human Revolution and Mankind Divided. Now, these hubs are richly detailed, with characters to find, nooks and crannies to explore, and best of all, will change depending on your decisions. Which ties into the second aspect: you play as a doctor turned vampire during the 1918 Spanish flu outbreak in London. Now, there are choices to be made, but these aren't your standard moral choices based on whatever the developers considered right and wrong. Instead, you can play the doctor, helping and healing people, but doing so will make their blood more potent, tempting you to indulge in your vampire side, which gives you more abilities and makes combat easier. And speaking of the combat, it plays similarly to Bloodborne, if a lot clunkier. Which actually is probably the best way to describe Vampire. It has systems very similar to those found in other games, but with less polish. But that lack of polish didn't hinder my experience, I loved it regardless. It is a unique experience, just a somewhat janky one, but I'll take interesting and janky over dull but polished.
It is the curse of the goddess. It is the hunger in you. The need for blood. The will to strike and to punish. To spit in the eye of God.
Far Cry 3 Classic Edition. Oh dear. In the PS4 roundup I said how I thought that Far Cry 5 was fine, but could be pushing for so much more because we've just been playing iterations of Far Cry 3. Well, apparently Ubisoft now wants to just cut to the chase, releasing the Far Cry 3 Classic Edition. And it's worth understanding how literal Classic Edition is, because this is a port. A very lazy port. It runs at a higher resolution now and looks, well, I would say better, but by that I mean it looks like the original PC version running at max settings. The biggest offense though, this is a port of a last-gen game and it still runs at 30 frames. Now, for all the criticisms leveled at Dark Souls Remastered, it ran at a buttery 60 FPS even on the original PS4 and Xbox One models, and there's no such luxury with Far Cry 3, even on the Pro and the X. I think the saddest thing about this is that Far Cry 3 is the fan favourite and arguably the best in the series, and this is the treatment it's given for a remaster. Oh well, Far Cry 6 next year probably, so hey ho. So, assuming you decided to stick with Far Cry 5 instead of venturing back into the tropical islands, June was a pretty good month, whether you were reliving your childhood memories or sneaking around in the shadows. If you're buying or selling, whether that be films, games, tech or phones, don't forget to check out the website at webuy.com.